Okay, so we're back for another deep dive, and this time we're picking up right where we left off with Dante. Remember last time, he was in a pretty rough spot, lost in that dark forest, right? Three pretty scary beasts blocking his way. It didn't look good. But then Virgil pops up, the poet, right?
Mhm.
With a kind of crazy offer.
Yeah, a guided tour through hell. Not exactly your average Tuesday afternoon, is it?
Definitely not. But the thing is, Dante actually says yes to this wild idea.
And thank goodness he does,
Yeah.
because that's where the real journey begins, right at the start of Inferno Canto 2.
Right, exactly. And this is what we're going to really get into today in this deep dive.
Yeah, we've got Canto 2 here, of course,
Yeah.
and some really interesting analyses and interpretations to work with, too.
So this time, we're not just going to sort of recount what happens, blow by blow. I think what I'm really fascinated by is how this moment, this very specific moment in the poem, it's 700 years old, right? But somehow it still speaks to, like, I don't know, something very human and universal even today.
Totally. We've all been there, right? Like facing a new challenge, and suddenly we're just flooded with doubt.
Yeah, yeah, like that feeling when you're about to take a huge leap and you think, wait a second, am I actually ready for this?
Exactly. And Dante, he's no different. The poem doesn't present him as some kind of fearless hero.
Mm-hmm.
you know, like charging into the abyss. He's a real person. He's scared. He's having second thoughts. Like it's finally hit him what he's actually getting into.
And I love how it's nighttime when all this is happening, right? It just adds to this whole atmosphere of
Oh,
uncertainty.
for sure. It's like the darkness outside mirrors the darkness he's feeling inside. It's all very symbolic.
Absolutely. So he's standing there with Virgil, and he starts thinking about these huge figures from history and myth, right? Like Aeneas, who went down to the underworld to found Rome.
And St. Paul, who ascended all the way to the third heaven to spread Christianity.
Right. And Dante's basically like, why me? What makes me worthy of this kind of journey? These guys were heroes, saints. I'm just Dante.
And that's so relatable, right?
Yeah.
We all compare ourselves to others, especially when we're unsure of ourselves.
So true. So Dante's really wrestling with this idea of being worthy. But here's where it gets really interesting, because Virgil then reveals that he's actually got this incredible backup, this whole team of, get this, powerful women supporting him.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes this canto so unique and thought-provoking. It turns out Virgil wasn't just wandering around limbo and bumped into Dante. He was sent on a mission, a rescue mission, essentially.
Who sent him?
Beatrice, the
Yeah.
love of Dante's life, right?
Yeah.
Residing in paradise. But here's the even crazier part. She didn't just decide this on her own. She was prompted by Saint Lucia, the protector of sight, who was herself asked by the gentle lady, who is, of course, the Virgin Mary.
Whoa, hold on. So you're telling me we've got this whole chain of powerful female figures, Mary, Lucia, and Beatrice, all working behind the scenes to get Dante on the right track.
Exactly. This chain of celestial aid, as some call it, is a pretty big deal in the poem. And actually, when you think about it, it goes against a lot of the stereotypes we have about how women were depicted in medieval times. I mean, Dante is giving them a central role in this whole story of salvation.
It's totally unexpected, right? And it makes you think about how Dante actually viewed women and their power.
Yeah, and it's also interesting what this chain of aid is set in motion by Beatrice's compassion for Dante. She calls him amico, which means friend.
Just friend.
Well, it seems simple, but it's really significant because it suggests that their relationship has evolved into something deeper, more spiritual, more selfless. It's not just romantic love anymore. It's about genuine care for his well-being, his soul.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. So back to Dante and his comparisons, right? He's looking at these big historical figures, Aeneas, St. Paul, and he's measuring himself against them and their huge accomplishments.
Yeah, and he's coming up short in his own mind. He sees them as having this epic impact on the world, while he's just some guy who got lost in a forest.
But here's the thing. Even by making that comparison, Dante's kind of saying something really bold.
Totally. He's basically saying, hey, maybe my journey, my personal crisis, maybe it is important too. Maybe it deserves to be told. And by writing it all down, he's suggesting that his work, his poem, his perspective on things has value.
It's almost like he's saying, my story matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that makes this canto so relevant to us even today. It's this idea that everyone's story matters. Even if you're not founding empires or spreading religions, your journey through life is still significant.
So we have this really compelling image of Dante full of doubt. He's scared. He feels inadequate. But the text doesn't present these feelings as weaknesses.
No, not at all. In fact, some scholars suggest they're actually signs of awareness. They show that Dante understands how serious this journey is, how high the stakes are.
Like he's not just blindly rushing in, he's stopping to consider the weight of what he's about to do.
Yeah, and that's something we can all learn from.
Yeah.
Sometimes doubt can be a good thing.
Yeah.
It can help us prepare. It can help us see the bigger picture.
So true. But doubt can also be paralyzing, right? And that's where the support system comes in. Dante's not alone in all this. He's got this amazing chain of support, this divine grace working on his behalf.
Right. And we all need that, don't we? We all need people who believe in us, who lift us up when we're feeling down.
Yeah, and sometimes that support comes from unexpected places. It could be a mentor, a friend, a family member, or even just a random act of kindness that gives you that push you need.
Yeah, or sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time,
Yeah.
having the right opportunity appear when you need it most.
And then there's the love part of it, right? Beatrice's love for Dante is what sets this whole thing in motion. But it's not just any kind of love. It's this deeper, more selfless love.
Yeah, this spiritual love. And I think that's an important distinction because it shows that love, real love, can be a powerful force for good. It can inspire us, it can motivate us, it can even help us change for the better.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, it doesn't have to be romantic love. It could be love for your family, your friends, your community, even your work.
Right. Anything that truly connects you to something bigger than yourself.
Another thing that really struck me in this canto is how Dante needs to understand his mission. He needs to see that his journey isn't just about escaping that dark forest. There's a bigger purpose at play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even though most of us aren't going to be taking a literal journey through hell, we all have our own purpose to discover, right?
Yeah, our own mission.
And sometimes it takes a while to figure out what that is, but when we do, it can give our lives meaning and direction.
Totally. And I think that's one of the most important takeaways from this canto. Finding your purpose can make all the difference in how you face challenges, how you navigate the tough times.
Definitely. And remember, it's okay if your purpose evolves over time. Life is a journey after all.
And speaking of journeys, we can't forget about the role of encouragement in all of this. Virgil is constantly encouraging Dante, right? Reminding him of his strength, his potential, especially when Dante's feeling really down on himself.
Yeah, Virgil's like the ultimate hype man. And it's so important to have people like that in our lives. People who believe in us even when we don't believe in ourselves.
Absolutely. Those people can be lifesavers. They can help us see the light at the end of the tunnel when all we see is darkness.
And they can remind us that we're stronger than we think we are.
So true. And finally, and this is actually quite comforting, I think, even Dante, this guy who's going on this epic journey through the afterlife, even he feels fear and uncertainty.
Yeah, he's not some superhuman figure. He's a real person with real emotions.
And that's actually a really important reminder for all of us, I think. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to have doubts. It doesn't mean we're weak or incapable. It just means we're human.
It means we're alive.
Exactly. So let's just recap the key things we've learned from Canto 2. First off, doubt is normal. It's part of facing any big challenge. Second, support systems are crucial. We all need our own chain of aid to help us along the way. Third, love can be a powerful force for transformation. Fourth, finding your purpose can give your life meaning and direction. Fifth, encouragement from others can make all the difference. And finally, it's okay to feel weak and uncertain sometimes. We're all human after all.
And I think the biggest takeaway is that even though Dante starts out full of doubt and fear, he eventually takes that first step. He chooses to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's because of the support he receives and because he starts to see the bigger purpose of his journey.
Absolutely. So here's something for you all to think about. What was a time in your life when you faced a challenge that made you feel really inadequate? Who were the people who supported you through that? And how did you ultimately find the strength to move forward?
And think about your purpose, your mission in life. What are you passionate about? What do you want to achieve? How could you use your experiences, even the difficult ones, to make a positive impact on the world?
Those are great questions to ponder, and we'll be back next time to dive even deeper into Dante's Inferno. I'm sure we'll find plenty more insights along the way. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep moving forward on your own unique journey.